Hello, everyone. Hi, sorry, I'm just checking to make sure we record this. So for those of you that have maybe joined some of our workshops previously, you will notice that this is a new software that we are trialing. So please bear with us today. I'm hoping that this one works out a little bit better than the last one as we experience some issues with the last one. But how's everyone doing today? I see people joining at the bottom. Please feel free to hop in the chat, say hello, let us know where you're joining us from. We're super excited you're here, and I'm just going to go ahead and dive in and get started with the intro. So we have a lot to kind of get into today, and I feel like Yohei, you could like really go on forever with all of the cool things that you've done with AI and Softr in particular. So let me get started. Okay, so Softr, for those of you that are not familiar, Softr is a tool. We allow you to build custom apps and internal tools using Airtable and now Google Sheets. And we say it's block by block without code. So if you've played around in Softr, you realize it's a building block type of no code builder. And as of right now, it's basically using Airtable and Google Sheets as your data source. However, we will be rolling out additional data sources in the near future. So stay tuned for that. Hello, hello. Yeah, please feel free to say hello in the chat. So I'm really excited to introduce our guest today. I've just had the pleasure of meeting him very recently. But this is Yohei, and he is a general partner at Untapped Capital, a pre-seed VC firm investing in under-networked founders. So that's his main job. But I would say also, in addition to that, many of you may know him from Twitter, from being a creator. He's really known for building in public. He's known for all sorts of different creative projects in the AI space, automation space. He has an NFT collection. Is that your background or my background?
I think it is. I think a gardener just showed up.
Okay, just making sure it wasn't someone from, because it's a new tool. So I'm like, do I need to turn off other people's microphones? Okay, good. I would say one of your biggest things is that you had the unofficial Zapier integration with OpenAI, which is now an official integration. That's really cool.
Yeah, that was exciting.
Twitter, yeah. So you guys, please, if you're not connected with him on Twitter already, follow him to get inspired, especially as AI is becoming kind of the hot thing right now. You'll be continually inspired by him. So what is a VC portal? I'm going to kind of touch on this. So before we kind of dive in. So at the foundation of VC portal is one of a core use case at Softr. So essentially what it is it's like a client portal. And in the VC perspective, it allows you to kind of track all your companies, your funding rounds, manage your LP communications, and more. So essentially you can have different user groups. So you could have kind of an admin user group and an LP user group, and you can allow them to have different permissions, and they also can have login access. So they can log into the portal and kind of see all the different information about the company, and then any resources that they want to get from their VC. There's communication. You can have a directory. You can use charts to kind of show funding rounds and where you're at with that kind of stuff. It's really, really neat. And we're seeing this use case a lot more in the past year as we focused a little bit more on client portals and internal tools at Softr. So you'll get a peek at this in a second, but I just kind of wanted to clarify. So Yohei has taken his founder portal to the next level with some serious AI magic. So we're going to actually touch more on the AI today than kind of the foundations of a VC portal. Initially, we were going to do more of like a founder portal kind of walkthrough, but then he showcased to me all of these really cool things that he's integrated into his portal with AI. And I was like, no, this needs to be an AI workshop. So it's perfect because I believe we're right around the 1 month anniversary of introducing AI into Softr. So I'm really excited to get started with this. So basically, we're going to walk through the portal at a high level. Yohei's going to showcase two of his AI integrations. Next, we'll have you vote on which one you want to go deeper on. And then we'll create a new AI feature with Softr AI from scratch, but also we might just like, I don't know, play around with Softr. This is all kind of up in the air. So really it's just a chance for us to play, get inspired. So I highly recommend that you guys ask questions, give us feedback. If you want to see something at a deeper level, let us know. This is kind of an open workshop, hot seat, if you will. And of course, we will always leave room for questions at the end. Okay, I'm going to stop talking because I don't have many exciting things, and I know you guys are here to see the super cool things with AI and Yohei's portal. So without further ado, I'm going to hand it over to you, and I think you can share your screen and we can get started.
I can share my screen. Let's select this window. Can you see it?
Let's see.
It should be loading.
Yes. Perfect. Okay, let me see.
Is there an overlay on it?
Yep. So also, guys, you should be able to toggle to full screen. Let me know if you guys see the toggle full screen in the top right corner. Again, we're testing this new software, so that helps kind of blow things up. Okay, great. Go ahead. Dive right in.
I mean, I guess before I dive in, our fund runs entirely on Airtable. It started as one massive Airtable. I've since changed strategies and started breaking it up. I found that's a whole nother conversation, but I realized that having multiple Airtables is nice because from one software app you can call multiple Airtables, and from one Airtable you can call multiple software apps, which is great. So now I have a dozen front end apps on software and a dozen Airtable backends, and I can kind of connect them and match them as I like. So that's kind of the high level architecture. But this is what our founder portal looks like. I'll do a super high level. Is the top feature you see is an update feature, which allows people to send us updates. There's no AI here. It's just a simple form with the option to select other people beyond just us. But if you wanted to share it with our investors, with our private community, which is a email list of 600, or if you want us to promote it on social, with one update form, you can kind of let us know both the update and like the ask for amplification. So that's kind of a simple tool that we've built in. This sends us an email as well, and the request goes into the Airtable, and it logs as updates for the founder. This section, which is what we'll focus on next, is kind of what started as a very short, quick menu that's quickly growing. So I need to rethink about organizing, but that's what we'll mostly focus on. But before I dive into that, I will touch on just kind of the lower parts too. These are, which I think is interesting. I have kind of pages, resource pages and industry pages, which are actually software templates. And if you go to fundraising, you will see relevant fundraising articles here. And then if there are tools that I had updated to our Airtable, they would show up here.
Love that.
And
one of the first times I've seen that used that way.
Yeah, it's pretty fun. You can go into general, and then you'll both, I guess this is a good example. There should be some articles around general, like how to write affordable introduction emails, intro to startup metrics. Then down here, you might see, my favorite email hunting tool, or some of the generic tools I use. And what's interesting, because this is a template, on the back end here, every tool article is just in one huge table called assets. And then they're mapped to a topic table.
Right.
And the topic table is what each topic table represents a page. And then based on the type, if it's a function, it'll show up under functions. And if it's an industry, it'll show up under industry. It's a pretty interesting, being able to generate this kind of a whole bunch of dynamic pages based all off of Airtable. So that was a pretty cool way to be able to like add resources and add new sections pretty easily.
Yeah.
So that's the high level of our portal outside of our quick menu. Going from the beginning, 30-minute check-in, that just takes us to our Calendly. This is our perks. This takes us to, actually, we use Built First. It's a perks marketplace, so so that just links them there. Crunchbase investor list. We have a process of manually downloading Crunchbase rounds data and identifying a list of active investors in any industry. We specifically look at who's been active in the last year. So this is a manual service that we provide for founders. They can still email us, but we always ask for 3 same pieces of information. So we just drop this here. So founders know that they can come here. So instead of asking us, hey, what do you need from me to build a list? They can just go in here, drop it in, and usually within 2 days, I'll send them a list of investors that are relevant to them.
Ah, that's cool.
So you can see, I purposefully am mixing kind of different types of quick menus, right? Some are services, some are actually just links to tools. Network search, this one's kind of wild, but it basically actually has, I uploaded my entire network into Airtable. I'm not going to search through it, but I'm still mapping LinkedIn and getting organization and tags in there. But the idea is for our founders to just directly be able to search my network and request introductions directly from our founder portal.
That's really cool. That's a great perk.
And then now we'll jump into our AI portals, and some of our AI tools. Ask Me Yohei was one of the first tools actually built on top. It was the first tool I built on top of GPT-3. It's an AI that specializes in VC knowledge. It's basically GPT-3 wrapped with like your VC specialist. Make sure you're writing something for founders. Founders can just go in. They can say, sorry about the background noise. Hopefully, if I'm talking, you can.
Yeah, no, you're good.
Yeah. What's a good one? There's some examples down here, but when is a good time? Hire a sales lead. And maybe you have someone on your team. So, if I had someone named Tom, I could just say, hey, I want him to get the answer too. What this does is this kicks off the AI, and the AI, in this case, emails the founder. And right. in the email that's sent by the AI, I'm CC'd on every email. Again, this is a relationship building tool between our founders and us. So my goal is not to just pass on the AI, pass on the work to the AI. The goal is to leverage the AI to be able to respond faster, and then I add color on top of the AI. So we take this augmented intelligence approach, is what some people call it, where the combination of an AI answer and human answer surpasses just an AI answer or just a human answer.
Right. Love it.
So that's how kind of our AI tools work. It's a pretty straightforward tool in terms of how it works. Just to show you, I'm going to skip this one. I'll show this one next.
Amir, quick question. Amir says, one of the data sources, is it just GP3's knowledge? Which, right, it is, yeah?
Yes. So okay, I guess I will go and ask Yohei too much. So this first one that you saw is, yes, it's basically GPT-3 wrapped in a prompt template. So it is, as you said, it's GPT-3. It's the knowledge of the internet is basically what it's based off of. If I show you Yohei 2.0, let's try asking the same question. This is a newer version. This one I actually built last night. I've never shared this actually, so I'm going to put a tweet thread. But this includes not just a web search, but a very specific web search on a list of, I think, about 100 and something VC blogs. So it does take a little bit longer because what it's doing is it's doing this Google search, but specifically on a set of VC blogs. It's then reading the top 10 answers. It's pulling out all the relevant answers and then feeding it back into GPT-3 so that GPT-3 can then write an answer and then display it. And hopefully it should happen soon. There you go.
So the idea is this one should be much more targeted.
So it is generally a good idea to hire a sales lead when you're starting up a new business. And that's from this Softr article, which is one of the blogs I added. Okay.
Wow.
This will help keep costs and allow you to focus on the aspect of the business. There are some things to keep in mind, such as making sure you have a good cell reception in your office. That does not sound like a great answer. I don't really see why that makes sense.
Cell service in your office, yeah. But
again, I made this last night, so
right.
There's some tweaking to be done. But still, right? 48 type of VP sales, hire the right one. Should your VP sales start off as a player coach? So this is this is version 2 of Yohei, where there is actual citation because it's actually pulling answers from VC blog posts.
So cool. I love it. So yeah, much more relevant for your portfolio companies.
Yeah, but both versions exist for now. Yeah. I think there's ways to mix and match and figure out what works the best.
As a builder, you're a true builder in public. Keep the first version out there. Let people play with it.
As a matter of fact, the first version, actually, I wonder if I should get the email. Oh, here, I think I can share the email. So the first version 1, I actually have 4 responses. So there's a Yohei v1.0. There's a version 1, 2, 3, and 4. 1 and 2 tend to always give me longer answers. 2 tends to give me the longest answer. And the reason you see these is because I'm in the back end. I'm testing different ways to generate answers, and then I'm storing which one's my favorite. So it seems like this is probably the most strongest answer. And if you actually look at this specific question, this seems like a better answer to me.
Right.
This seems like a more thorough answer. It's thinking about the answer from scratch and using all the knowledge of the internet to try to answer it, versus with this kind of the version 2, it was not as good at answering this question. I think what it ended up giving me was a little bit more of a hodgepodge because probably the search query didn't work as well or something like that.
Right.
But depending on what you are searching for, I found this one to be better. So maybe the answer is to actually just add him as another version, and then at the end have GPT-3 look up look at the different answers and pick their favorite answer. How does it search the specific blogs?
Yeah.
I am using a custom Google search query. So Google Search API gives you the ability to create a custom Google search query, which is a unique custom search link where you give it specific domain that you want it to search through. It's just a built-in feature. So I just basically accumulated a list of 100 VC blogs, uploaded to Google Search as like, here are the URLs I want you to feed me results from.
Cool. Makes sense. Great. Yeah. Love it. So great.
Blog post drafter is, it works similarly to the first Ask Me Yohei, but I'll just share it because it's a little bit of a different form. I'm able to ask, like, let's say why you should teach your employees to use no-code AI tools, and maybe for keywords, automation, speed, efficiency, tone. Let's make it friendly, informative, and optimistic.
So cool.
To convince founders to spend time training their employees. And that's how you ask for a blog post. It works similarly to other AI blog post tools out there, but basically it's free for our founders.
Yeah.
And the way I see it, a lot of founders are busy. They're not keeping up with AI tools. So if I can sneak in like a simple version of all the AI tools that are out there into a portal, they can try it. And if they really like one, they can go and, maybe I should, one of the things I was thinking was maybe on the blog post drafter, I should link to Jarvis and Copy and other tools where I say, hey, this is helpful to you, and you're going to use it a lot more. There are more powerful tools out there. So kind of give people a taste of the tools.
It's the gateway.
I see a question. Is it better than embedding? Is it better than embedding as it will pick up new content? That's actually a good question. I think that's what was interesting. All the other ways that I found searching through a specific text corpus did use embeddings, but then I would have to store all of it. And you're right. So I would have to like pull in all their content. I'm guessing if I actually embedded like individual sentences across every blog, you would get more relevant results to feed into your answer. But again, that gets costly. And to your point, like you'd have to pick up new content. With this one, if I came up with a list of 100 new blogs, I can just copy paste the 100 domain names into my search parameters and and it's able to search through that. Versus if I went the embedding route, I would have to scrape all 100 blogs, set up code to pull in new content, and get all of those embedded. So perhaps quality-wise, I think embedded would be better answer, but I think the custom Google parameter is actually a better way to do it if you're doing it for more than one blog, is my guess. But that was my big eureka moment last night. So thanks for being here to sharing the excitement with me. I think I did it at midnight. Like excited. I was like, who am I going to share this with? I want to sleep.
That's great.
SEO idea generator is not that great, so I'm going to skip that one. Product idea generator. This one's also fun too. I like that. It's fun in the sense that you kind of choose an objective. So you're seeing like a lot of AI tools like GPT. You're kind of sitting there on a blank page wondering like, oh, how should I use this?
Right.
So the idea of building these wrappers is that it's like when you want product ideas, like maybe, hey, I really need to focus on my retention, my market. I have an e-commerce platform. People come and buy, and I'm in the baby clothes space, right? And then when you send this, it'll generate product ideas and email it to you.
The specificity of it is key.
Yes.
Versus
just saying like I want product ideas for describing and kind of guiding people through. I'm not sure why it's taking a long time, so maybe I'll just.
I mean, that's the biggest thing that I feel like, especially for writers, I've been seeing them talk about is it helps with the kind of like empty page syndrome that exists with like getting started with writing or trying to come up with ideas. That's something that AI has seemed to really help with. So maybe writers aren't letting AI write their entire post for clients or businesses or their jobs, but it's helping with them with the prompts and helping them kind of like get started. Same thing with product idea generator.
Nope. And then we'll do the logo maker. This is fun. Actually, most people don't know, but I started initially on the text to image side. I'm a huge Dolly fan. I started with Midjourney, played with all of them, but I'm a Dolly guy. So this is a logo maker that I made, a little fun. We could do. Do you want to do an animal maybe? Do you want to pick something that we could do?
Let's do an elephant.
Elephant. Okay.
Yeah.
And I actually have a version that'll make like 100 different variations, but it's just way too heavy. So this one just, I think it's about 10.
Ooh, very nice.
Pretty cool, right? And it's a free graphic for the founders. I don't even store these right now, which is probably not ideal because I might as well keep them. But at this point, if a founder generates stuff, it's theirs to use. I don't keep it. You can do some interesting, you can do kind of industries as well. You like healthcare, something very vague. You'll probably get the Cross Plus. If you do finance, you'll probably get money.
Oh, that's so cool. Health.
Amir, question. This is not fine-tuned. This is I've spent hours and hours on Dolly prompts to generate vector prompts. So this is just prompting on Dolly.
Yeah.
Because Dolly doesn't allow you to fine-tune. Actually, that's a stable diffusion to do that with.
I see we have some AI, very interested AI folks in the chat because they're asking really smart questions. I like it. Logo maker is awesome. Have any of your portfolio companies used one of the logos from the logo maker?
No, actually. I mean, I think logos are a little bit tough. I have a couple other versions that do kind of more startup graphics.
Yeah. That makes sense.
That one I think is better, but I haven't really wrapped it in a way that other people can use. But I can share some of the outputs, I think, so I'll pull it up in a second. But yeah, that's an overview of our founder portal. We have a lot more features that we've kind of started building. We're actually rebuilding part of our founder portal from scratch, so it should look pretty different down the road. But yeah, that's how that's some of the stuff there. Here's okay, what are we going to jump to next?
Okay, so I would say, based off of everything you just showed us, does anyone watching want to vote on what they would want to see Yohei go a bit deeper on? So he could basically walk us through how, exactly how he set one of these up, basically reverse engineering it. He also has a lot of other side projects. We could go through some of those, as you can see.
So I'll start talking, and then people can just chime in and ask questions and say, I want to learn more about that.
This is super collaborative.
I will add a couple of notes because I think it's interesting. Almost all of these Ask Me Yohei blog post draft or product idea, this is using a Softr form.
Okay, yeah.
Which sends to either Zapier or Airtable. I use both. Which is why the way you see the response is email, right? Yeah. So the blog post should have come back in an email. It'll be fun to look at it. Or actually, I might as well. So here's the blog post.
Yeah, there it is.
There's the blog post draft, and then the product ideas for e-commerce company.
Oh, that's awesome. Great loyalty program.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, so that's why, and the reason is to some extent because that's it's hard to display things immediately. But with Mini Yohei 2.0 and with the logo maker, you notice that you actually see the response immediately.
Mm-hmm.
So with those, I'm actually running. I'm actually using this. I would call it low code because I'm actually running a Python Flask app in Replit, and then I'm using a code block to pull my Python Flask app into Softr. But I'm still using Softr's user login because I don't like dealing with I don't like coding user authentication. So even with my newest project that I'm working on, which is mostly coded in Python, I'm actually still using Softr as the user login and authentication. And actually, even when I'm writing in Python Flask, I use Airtable as my backend. So I'm able to still use Softr's tools to let people edit the data, even though they're engaging with the Python app most of the time. So it's been interesting kind of mishmatching low code, no code tools together.
I've been having that conversation with a lot of our community lately of how low code and no code really go hand in hand and they don't need to be at odds. And you I don't know, especially for our experts, we've been talking a lot how maybe like learning some of the fundamentals of HTML, CSS, JavaScript is really beneficial when you're learning no code tools, because they kind of help you stretch the bounds of what some of these platforms are limited by, you know? So I think it's a well-rounded approach. It doesn't have to be one or the other. It doesn't have
and if we do have anybody who is doing kind of playing around with that kind of stuff, you can pull all the user data is stored in the window. And if you can call it and like get the user data in a Python Flask app, even if you're pulling it via API directly into the software. So that's been interesting to be able to do full on user type stuff.
Yeah, Matthew just gave me a wink because yes, he was one of the ones we've been talking about that with. Okay, so
and then another interesting thing, right? This is our founder portal. This actually pulls in from so this portfolio tab right here, this is synced to our actual CRM, which is separate from our founder portal. This is our founder portal Airtable. I had mentioned before that we have multiple Airtables now.
Right.
I like automating as much as possible. So our portfolio tab is actually a filtered view of all organizations in our CRM, where the funding round, which is a separate table that's linked to the organization table, if it has a funding round where the status is wired, which means like it's gone through, we signed the form and we've wired money. At the moment I change the status to wired, they automatically show up in the portfolio view.
Right.
And then that pushes them automatically into here. And then when there's a new row in this view, in this table specifically, it creates a new user. So it's automatically creating users when I update the status on my other Airtable, which I thought was interesting.
Brilliant. Makes sense.
Other tools I've built, emails.wtf is a pretty interesting, fun little tool that I built. It summarizes emails for you. You can forward any email to any email address at emails.wtf.
Ooh, I need this.
And it will summarize the email and reply back to you.
And reply back to you. That's great.
And it'll also give you a link that you can log in with to see all your emails and folders.
See all your emails where?
In different folders.
Oh, in folders. Okay. Should we look at this one? This is cool. Or should we go farther into Geppetto?
Yeah, I'll show you what the folder looks like. So I just forwarded a Softr email address to Softr at emails.wtf. And what's interesting is I'm using the email address you decide on as the folder name.
Wow.
So I just took a full email called Softr, one of your emails, and I forwarded it to Softr at emails.wtf, and it created a Softr folder. There's unlimited folders that you can create. It depends on which email address you send it to. And then Softr will be updating their pricing in 2 weeks, and they're sharing a draft and new pricing menu. Action items, some details are still being worked out. Great. Sorry I picked that one, but that was the most recent one I had.
That's okay. It's part of it. But yeah, that's really cool. And this is all in Softr as well, yeah.
This is all in Softr as well, yeah. Well, on the back end, it's Zapier, but yeah, it's at emails.wtf. There's no like login to create an account. You have to start using it. So when you forward your first email, it creates your account for you. Your login link will always be in any email, but that's the only way to get it is just use it. I initially made it because I was getting a whole bunch of school emails for my kids, and it was just a pain.
Yeah.
So I actually made an email summarizer for myself that automatically took all school emails from my kids, summarized it, and put it in a folder, and I had a private Softr app just for that purpose that I still have.
That's brilliant.
But then when I shared it, other people said, oh, that's cool. I love it. Some people asked about using it for other purposes, which made me think, it'd be fun to build a little service that kind of just does that automatically on the back end.
Wow. So you never miss like field trip money or lunches?
Oh, I still miss it, but I miss it. I miss it less. Also, when I'm wondering if I'm missing it, I don't have to go into my email. I don't have to search. I have like a one-tap app on my phone that I open up, and it just gives me short summaries of all the communication. So
that's perfect.
It just makes it easier.
That's brilliant. I love it. Cool. Okay. So I'm really excited to see more of Geppetto because we didn't have as much time when you and I connected a couple weeks ago to go through this. But
Geppetto is, I think, probably the most interesting thing I built on Softr because it's a no-code AI tool. Like the Geppetto itself is a no-code tool. So I built a no-code tool with no-code, but it's a no-code. So it was after I built, I think, 3 or 4 of the tools within the Founder portal for every tool, like Yohei version 1, the blog post drafter, each of those, I set up a new Airtable, I set up a new Zap workflow, but it was all very repetitive. And I thought, I bet I could templatize some of this. And that's where it started. If you go to the workshop, I think I can, it'll show you, you can basically build a whole bunch of apps. So you'll see a list of my apps. I'm not sure why my internet's being particularly slow right now, but
it's okay.
What are these pictures?
These are the Softr. These are Softr, the dummy data. So you might need to reconnect your data source.
Okay, but that's okay. This isn't what I was looking to show. Okay, here we go. So these are a whole bunch of apps I have. I have a diligence tool, which I can give it a startup description, and it will provide a whole bunch of risks about the startup. US politics tool, if I ask a question, I'll get a conservative and liberal response. I think this one's fun. Life advisory board is another fun idea. And this is kind of a tool I have to basically mock up a prototype GPT-3 based apps. I think and then some of these tools I would build it here. I would either use this tool to test prompts or this tool to just like mock up the tool, try it myself, and if I liked it, I would quote unquote push it to production.
Yeah.
But the way it's designed, it's all built on Airtable.
Right.
So once I can build it in Geppetto, and if I like it, I can actually just embed it into the Founder portal.
That's so cool. Okay, should we go a little bit deeper?
Yeah. So Life Advisory Board. So the way it works is you can ask a question here, and then you click Submit Prompt, and then all the past requests show up here. So we'll click on one I just did before. One of my close friends betrayed me. What should I do? Benjamin Franklin says the first step is to forgive your friend. Gandhi says something similar, forgive the friend. Kanye says confront your friend. Sounds about right. And then Marcus Aurelius is the best. He says if your friend betrayed you, they are not really your friend. You should find new friends who will not betray you.
He's got a different perspective.
Anyways, it's a fun idea. But on the back end, if you want to see how it works, is that each of the characters, right? Benjamin Franklin, Gandhi, Kanye, are individual prompt templates that are stored in the Airtable, and you can add as many prompt templates as you want to each app.
Love it. Okay, wait. There's a couple questions. Is Geppetto open to all use?
It is open to all use. It is a little buggy, but it works. I think it'll walk you through the first app. But Matthew, really, is that a question to ask here? Of course, I'm using Softr.
No, it's a good question.
No.
Why not Bubble?
I've tried Bubble. I've tried Webflow. I've tried Stacker, and I've tried Softr. With Webflow and Bubble, I found it too flexible.
Yeah.
If you give me the option to like change everything, I will spend forever designing. With Softr, I love that I can just go in and just get the functionality going immediately. And then if I want to, there is capability to customize CSS, but I don't see I really don't see much of the customization options. So I can really focus on just building out all the functionality first and then doing the design. When I was using Webflow and Bubble, I found myself like every time I set up a button, it just wasn't in the right place. So you'd have to at least do some design. And then once you start doing some design, you have to perfect it.
Right.
And then so I found myself like even getting a basic splash page up took forever because like every button I dropped, I had to do some CSS, some like, oh, I need to center this div. Here, I'm just picking and dropping and quickly running through. So I have a version 1 up really quickly.
That makes sense. That's a typical response, I would say, for Softr. Like we have more constraints, and designing with constraints is sometimes it's not great depending on what you need, and sometimes it's great if you want to get going and get something out fast. That makes sense.
I was teasing. Yes. But yeah, I'm a big.
Matthew says, he is a strong Softr user. He's one of our experts.
I'm a speed builder, and Softr is definitely the fastest. So I can go in here. If you click this actual prompt, right, you saw a whole bunch of, there was the Elon Musk, Benjamin Franklin, a whole bunch of people in there. If you click through, you'll be able to see the actual prompt, or the prompt template. Again, sorry for the slow loading. It's probably my internet. Actually, my internet went out last night for like an hour, and I was worried I wouldn't have it this morning, but I do.
It's because it feels the pressure. It knows everybody's watching now, so.
It does. So there you go. Complete the following chat dialogue by providing an illustrated response that Elon Musk would give to the student's question. Find out the best prompt template. I made this a really long time ago, but again, this is using Airtable, using all the edit features. I can go in and I can edit the record right here. And And this is mobile friendly, right? It's on Softr. So what's great is that if I have an app idea, assuming I have internet, I can build a whole GPT-3 based app with multiple prompts, all from my phone. I have 3 kids. So I'm often on the go, at the park, watching kids play with each other. I can't, I don't, and also because I'm a VC by day, I don't actually build in front of my computer much.
Right.
During the day, I mostly do focus on VC work. I mostly build at night and weekends. So I'm often building on the go.
Yeah.
So Geppetto allows me to basically mock up all these GPT-3 tools while I'm out, start testing them out, start playing with them, test prompt templates, and then push them to production if I want to.
When did you first get into all of this? And like what started in this space, like no code and then into AI specifically?
No code. I mean, I was a power Google Sheets user starting in like 2012, I think.
Okay.
So I remember at Techstars, I was writing a whole bunch of Google Sheets scripts and kind of using Google Sheets as an app.
Yeah.
And then Airtable came out, and I started playing with Airtable, and I realized how powerful it was.
Yeah.
But it didn't have as much good scripting at the time, so I remember bouncing away. But then I kind of came back and started using Zapier more. So that was, I mean, it's been probably 6-7 years since I got into no code, kind of to some extent.
Yeah.
This AI stuff more recently, of course.
Of course, as with most of us.
Actually, with no code, specifically on the Softr Airtable stuff, when I started my fund, this was in 2019. The first thing I did, because I always knew I wanted a custom CRM that was part of our differentiation that I knew I'd have from the beginning. The first thing I did was build a CRM. On version 1 of our CRM, actually, I started coding in PHP, and I realized that was not a good use of my time, and I'm not a good coder. That's when I started poking around, and I was playing around with Airtable, Softr Stacker, and I realized I did give up some functionality at the time that I wanted, but I realized I could build 5 times faster.
Yeah.
And then after trying both, I ended up settling on Softr and Airtable as my stack, and haven't looked back.
Then it grew from there.
And then recently, now that with OpenAI and then with Softr adding a whole bunch of stuff, like there's a lot of stuff I couldn't do when I started using Softr, most of which I can do now.
Incredible. What are your thoughts on GPT-4 is coming out, right? Do you have any thoughts?
No, I mean, it'll be powerful. It'll be mind blowing. I'm excited for it, but I don't need to think about it too much.
Okay.
I had a couple apps out when GPT-3 went from the Text DaVinci 002 model to the 003 model. I was getting into it was like a little minor upgrade. But it was easy as going into all my apps and just changing one number from 2 to 3, and all my apps got better.
Wow.
Because it was just simply had a power, and there was a handful of builders that I was connecting to, and everybody did the same. Like one day it was like, oh, 003's out. And we just went in, updated one number on their back end, and everybody's app got upgraded.
That's great.
It was a really cool feeling, and it wasn't as many builders as there is today. But the same thing will happen when GPT-4 comes out, which is that everyone will just quickly update the model. A lot of people will experience their app just suddenly getting much better.
Yeah, that's great.
But yeah, I mean, I think one thing to concern as a builder, if you're like a founder building, is like it is good to try to understand the technology so you have a better sense of where you can build differentiation that's sustainable. Because there are things that you can do today that you won't need to do if GPT-4 comes out. And there are things you need to do today that you'll still need to do even after GPT-4 comes out. And again, like no one knows exactly what that is, maybe necessarily, but thinking about it, hopefully you can spend more time building the right stuff.
Absolutely. Okay, so let's spend the last few minutes. I would love to hear, unless anybody wants to see anything, if anybody wants to see something again, go deeper into how he set certain things up, please by all means put it in the chat. Min says, thanks for sharing the prompts, really helpful for learning. Would love an app that helps you write the prompt prompter. The prompt prompter.
Good idea.
There you go. I need help with the prompts. Prompt prompter. So let's then touch on, I'd love to hear, build in public log. Let's walk through that. I'd also love your opinion on Softr AI, because I know you played around with it a bit.
Let's try it. I don't know.
And let's do both. I want to see
I just wanted to refer to this in case people wanted to dig in more. I've been building a whole bunch of stuff. This is my new build in public log. I try to post most of the stuff I share here. Basically, the filter is public is usually public tools that you can play around with. Not always, but public tools, public videos. Private is stuff I use internally. prototype is usually super quick hacks that I just did as a fun project. Personal is personal tools. You can filter by the tutorial template, live tweet. These are stuff where I'm usually sharing how I built something. And then you can also filter by category, which is like a lot of stuff is AI or no code, but a lot of stuff is specific to VC. I do have some Web3 stuff as well. But this is just a way for people who are interested in learning more to kind of, I don't know, get inspired to see projects I've built.
Definitely. And I'm going to send out a follow-up email tomorrow with the recording, feedback, and then I will also link to this so you guys can have access to it and keep up with all the cool things that Yohei's working on.
We might as well do a Softr AI demo.
Well, let's do a Softr AI demo. I'm also just so curious to hear because, yeah, I'm curious.
Or if anybody has questions, yeah, either.
Yeah. What would you, if you were to integrate something today into your portal with Softr AI, native Softr AI, what would you do?
Native Softr AI. Well, I think you're pretty close to it. I would love to be able to do. I mean, I think you could basically. I mean, I think you should just copy Geppetto into Softr, honestly.
Yeah, true.
Well, the thing is, the biggest here. I think I just designed it. Let's see if. Wait, did I just push this? But one, it is. Why couldn't it generate it?
Oh, is this the native AI? Okay, yeah.
I thought I had it. Oh, is it not connected? No, it should be connected. Oh, it's not. Maybe I'm not. Integration's not set up.
Oh, that's okay.
That should be quick. Integrations.
How fast does it take?
It's fast though. I mean, it's.
I'm curious if anyone that's watching has played with Softr AI yet. I know a lot of you guys have. It was definitely one of our most engaging announcements that we put out there in December. Softr websites are all very slow. Some are down. If this could not be shown live, though it looks okay for Yohei. Are they all very slow right now? Do you mean, Matthew? Yeah. Okay.
Oh, well, that makes me feel better.
It might not be your internet. Yeah.
Well, in this AI case, I had not connected, but I just connected my OpenAI API. So let's see.
Yeah, it could just be a Softr issue. Here we are blaming your internet. Now I feel bad.
It could be working though. I think it's doing something differently. There we go. So it is working. What I wish I could do, right, is with Geppetto, I have the kind of wrappers that I have, the being able to, define where the input goes and then add stuff above or below it.
Right.
And if I could code that into here, right? If I could create like a wrapper around whatever the user inputs, then I could build a handful of the apps. Oops, that's not what I meant to do. I could build a handful of the apps.
Right.
Like being able to add something like, God, slow, but you get it. I think because right now I don't know if I think everybody's AI block ends up being the exact same. Like if you use if you build an AI block, use an AI block, and I use an AI block, they're both the exact same.
It's going to be the same as the next person's. Yeah, that's a good.
But being able to wrap it a little bit, right? Another fun one. I think another fun use case, right? I use heal.yohei. I mean, I actually use this a lot. This one's live for anybody who wants it. I don't think this one does use Softr, but just as like an AI use case, what are you stressed about? Let's say like I'm tired and have lots on my plate. And this will write you a poetry about that specific thing you're stressed about. But this is basically just a prompt template wrapped in it, right? So when you feel overwhelmed, take a moment to rest. Your spirit is like the sky soaring above the mess. Your plate may be full and heavy, but your heart is still light. You're stronger than you know, my friend, like a tree in its might. Though life can seem daunting at times, remember that it won't last. In times, these worries will pass away. A new day will come fast.
Brilliant. Now you're a poet. Thanks to AI. This is your.
But again, this is all this is a prompt template wrapped around a user input. Exactly. So if you put that functionality into this code block, I could build everything from the healing poetry and do a couple other tools, because I do like the response time is faster than what I'm than actually the ones I have sometimes, because it seems like you're streaming the answer back.
Yeah. Ooh, okay, good to know. Reporting that.
I would say you could probably do the same thing with the Dolly, which is you could let people wrap it. What I was trying to show earlier, that was showing the default ones. This one is a more intense version of the graphics generator. I don't let people use it because it just eats up my API key. But this generates 100 variations.
Gosh.
So this was all you type in is unicorn, and this is what you get as a response from this tool. Wow. Again, I'm the only one. I haven't given access to other people because it kind of breaks down.
Yeah, that's incredible.
So you get all these, polygonal icons, 3D people, office spaces, some retro ones, paper cut mock-ups.
That's so cool. My niece would love this. She's in a unicorn phase right now. That's really cool. Okay, does anybody?
Again, you could also build, you could build tools like that.
Ooh, do you still have the Softr-based CRM? It's pretty old. Harmon is asking, can we get a tour of the Softr-based CRM? We have a few more minutes.
The Softr-based CRM.
Still have it there. You said that was your first Softr build was a CRM, and then you moved into your founder's portal.
Oh, no, the CRM was an Airtable.
Oh, it was an Airtable initially. Okay, I misunderstood.
It was it was an Airtable initially.
Okay.
And then the first Softr use case was actually our LP portal. But I don't think there's not much to share there. The LP portal actually, unfortunately, has a lot of proprietary info.
Yeah, understandable.
Information for our LP, so it's a little harder to share. But actually, our main core website runs off of Airtable as Softr as well.
We invest in superheroes. I love your website. Harmon, if you're interested in learning more about CRM, like Softr, we have a CRM template on the Softr website. If you just go to our template library, you can easily copy the CRM template into Softr. We're also creating a lot more documentation and videos on some of our core use cases, which CRM is one of them. And if you're interested in like a workshop, please feel free to email me and let me know if that's something you're interested in, because I want to be helpful. Awesome. Okay. And then Min says, is there a way to give Dolly an image yet? My logo, and ask it to generate something from it. An elephant sitting on a laptop.
No, that would be a stable diffusion. There's a couple kind of image to image, and I wish they were easier to use. I've played around with them, but the settings aren't like straightforward. It does take a little while to get it right, but it seems pretty powerful. I was trying out the other day, and need to spend more time figuring it out. Cool. But yeah, turning an image into some images is mostly variations of stable diffusion. You'll probably find those model on Hugging Face.
Okay.
Which I also do have a Zapier integration for, actually.
You have to remember.
Yeah.
You have so many of them.
It's an unofficial one, but I do have an unofficial Zapier integration.
I love it. Well, I'm like honestly super inspired by you. I am admittedly not super knowledgeable in the AI space. Like I can be a workshop host. That's why I let you take the floor. But I feel like I've personally learned a lot today. It makes me want to dive in and try different things. I hope that's also been the case for some of you guys showing up, just to show you what you can do and also just have fun with it. Like this is, like Yohei was saying, this isn't even his, this isn't what he does for his full-time job. You are managing your VC firm during the day. This is just a fun thing that you do on nights and weekends. So I hope that's encouraging to you guys. Play around. This is an exciting time for AI, most definitely. Does anyone else have any questions before we go? Feel free to drop them in the chat. If not, do you have anything else you would like to say or showcase?
Always, but
I mean, we can. This is super laid back, so it's up to you. If you're feeling,
I did notice yesterday. I just thought it was fun, just because I know we have no coders. I mean, I think with no coding, this was probably the most mind blowing thing for me. It was someone else's idea too. I wish I could give that person credit. And at this point, I get a lot of ideas from other people who are just like, can you do X?
Where did you find it, on Twitter?
Somebody said,
I sent it to you.
So this is GPT. So Zapier allows you to import and export whole workflows. So this is not just whole workflows, right?
Oh, wow.
So I exported 2 of my workflows that used OpenAI as JSON files, and that's the format, tech code format. And then, I described it. I said, query, like, when this happens, do this, and then here's the JSON. And then I gave it to you. And then for the third one, I just gave it a query. And the query I wrote was, when I receive a new email, use OpenAI to extract tasks and then add to Todoist under the auto folder. And so that was the input. And because I had given it 2 previous examples, it did successfully give me something that looked like a Zapier workflow JSON. So I thought, okay, let's see if this works. And I just uploaded it to Zapier, and it worked.
That's wild.
Which means that you can write you can basically describe Zapier workflows and have Zapier generated entirely for you.
That's insane. That's actually really cool.
It is pretty cool, right? I mean, from a no-code perspective, not be able to. So now I'm realizing, okay, so you could build a tool that allows you to just describe what you want and have it automatically automated.
Making it even faster to build and ship things.
Yes, it's very meta. It's automating automation.
Yeah, it's very.
But I've already flagged all my people at Zapier about it. I was like, you guys should just build this into Zapier as a functionality.
Or else you will.
Yeah.
Well, this was awesome. Thank you so much for your time and your expertise and your knowledge and just inspiring all of us. Nim says, fantastic event. Thank you, Yohei and Lizzie. No code, AI, the future. Totally agree. Guys, thank you so much for joining. I will send the replay tomorrow, and I will also send all of the links of everything that we went through today. So
awesome.
Thank
you everybody for joining.
Yeah. We'll talk to you soon.
All right.
Okay. Bye.
Bye.